Adim Okwesa is joining us from Financial Derivatives Company, one of the economic think tank and research analysts. He's talking to us about adding some salt to your rice, perhaps the other way around. If you got the rice, then you got to fix the salt. But you need salt in everything, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
Great. So salt is there. It's very easy to get, but the main ingredient itself is rice, isn't it? So let's start with rice conversation. Where are we right now? I'm sure you have a lot of burning economic issues, but I'm interested in that because it looks like it's the rice is the hottest conversation in town.
Yes. In the year, the price of rice has increased to almost a 2-3 year high to 27,000 naira per 50 kg bag, mainly because of the border closure. But I think in the next couple of months, we should see prices decline because local producers have increased production significantly to make up for this shortfall in production. So that in turn should drive down prices. And of course, maybe perhaps the border will be reopened. So I think producers are rushing to make up for that shortfall in production. So perhaps in the next couple of weeks, you should see prices decline.
Taper a bit.
Yes.
Do you think after the seasonality, prices may also decline after folks stock up for year-end, New Year, going back to school, whatever, in January?
Of course, that is also another factor. Once the Christmas season passes, people would stock up with rice. Of course, rice is commonly used as a gift. People tend to gift bags of rice, so they stock up on rice. And typically in January, they have inventories of rice. There's less demand, so that in turn will push down prices.
Maybe if guys give out gifts of made in Nigerian rice this season, maybe that will help boost domestic production. But I'm just worried about what you just said, that once we reopen the borders and the land borders, as it were, perhaps the local rice producers will fall back to their previous state in which they're struggling to make ends meet.
I hope that is not the case, but we're seeing the Nigerian government put pressure on our neighbors, on Benin Republic, Niger Republic, to increase scrutiny of cross-border trades, maybe halt or curb smuggling. So hopefully, before the border is closed, before the border is reopened, some sort of agreement will be signed between those countries and reduce smuggling.
And the joint task force, which has been set up with Benin Republic, Niger, and Nigeria to go around the border towns and villages and all of that. I think it's a good one because whichever way you look at it, our neighbors need to do something at the other side of the fence, just the way the U.S. is asking Mexico to rein in those who are coming through the land borders with the United States. You need to tell your neighbors to do something at the other side to help as well what is happening in here. But this is the domestic commodities price movement that just come up on the screen. Take us through this very quickly. I see a number of items are neuter, while some of it are. Where is some of it are going, by the way?
Yes, some of it is flat.
That's one of my favorites.
Yes, most of commodity prices are flat during this period of time, apart from rice, which I just spoke about, and Gari. Gari is up slightly to 6,900 naira per 50 kg.
Maybe I'm just going to have some of it out so that you guys can hold on to your rice and whatever. But it's okay.
Yes, that's a good substitute, yes. But the price of Gari has increased slightly, mainly because of seasonal factors. But with regards to other commodities, they are trading flat at this moment in time.
What else is there ticking up or not? Let's just go to the second page. Flour, beans, all these are, looks like rice is king here. It looks like the only product that is selling well above 20,000. That's the current price, 27,500.
Yes, that is almost a 2-3 year high, but the hope is in the next couple of weeks that price should come down to closer to 20,000 naira.
That's the cocaine of the market.
Of course, yes. Of course.
That's rice.
Yes.
It looks like the cocaine of the commodities, of the agro-commodities market. So you guys think things will taper a little bit. We appreciate this market survey. But very quickly, take us through the burning economic issues. Just take us through the top issues for today.
Yeah, the main story today is oil. Oil is down today because of a trade deal between the U.S. and China. It's sort of an impasse or stalemate between those two countries. The outlook has turned from positive to negative or sour.
I just keep my outlook neutral.
Yes.
Because I'm not too sure whether we're going to have a deal. We spent 6-7 weeks trying to work out phase one of the of the deal that was to be signed.
Yes.
And we're not sure whether we're signing it. What is going to happen? Meantime, Mr. President in Washington, President Donald Trump is talking about increasing tariff and what have you again. When those who are trying to work out the deal are still trying to work it out, I'm not sure. So I just go neutral on this. I don't know. Because can keep going brewing hot and cold.
Yes, and what
almost on
is
a daily basis.
complicating is the U.S. Senate is about to pass a bill which would support protesters in Hong Kong, which is essentially a slap on China's face. So China would seriously frown on that. And the key date is December 15th, which is when the next round of tariffs on Chinese imports is expected to kick in. So if phase one deal is not reached by December 15th, then we should just forget about it then. To be 2020 when this trade war will drag on to 2020, which will be negative for commodities and the overall economy.
I know. So just spend 1 minute to take us through the global agro commodities. Very quickly, I want to always like checking in with wheat, corn, maize, and sugar.
Cocoa. Cocoa is very interesting
yes,
now.
How would I ever forget?
Cocoa, the price of cocoa is at the 18-month high to $2,640 per metric ton. What is surprising, and this is the harvest season, which increases supply and should have a downward effect on prices. But the opposite effect is happening now because of strong demand in the Southeastern Asia region. Cadbury just reported strong sales growth numbers in chocolates. 36% growth in chocolates over the past 3 years, and expects that growth number to increase to 40% in the next couple of years. So strong demand for chocolate now, and expectations for demand in a couple of months is keeping prices high at this moment in time. And we're in the festive season. Valentine's season is around the corner, which is peak demand for chocolate. So the price of chocolate is at a very comfortable level.
I appreciate that. I just hope that, yes, farmers in this part of the world, in Nigeria, in Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Ghana, will be getting more for cocoa prices for their hard work on the field. I appreciate that. I'm also encouraged by a few state governments in Nigeria thinking of setting up cocoa processing, maybe cocoa paste.
Yes.
Processing to paste, have our own more of Nigerian chocolates coming through from the Southwest. That's good news. Thank you very much. I hope to see you in the days ahead.
Thank you.
Adim Okwesa, a member of the economic think tank at Financial Derivatives Company. So we're back to the financial market street where the SEC is holding the CMC meeting today. But before that, let's take a pause, shall we?
When your food is cooking, you should add a little salt. You can never go wrong with Dangote salt because it's refined, iodized, and so white, back so nice. You can never go wrong with Dangote salt. Oh yeah, put up, stir up, shake up, cook up. You can never go wrong with Dangote salt.
It's not just salt, it's Dangote salt.
So Nigeria's SEC is hosting that big all-industry stakeholders meeting. It's called the CMC, the Capital Market Committee. It's the flip side of what you call the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank, something akin to that. Everyone's sitting around the table. But yesterday, before today's big meeting, the SEC sat with the head or the top officials of all the securities exchanges and a few market professionals to talk about open and free communications and what needs to be done about the state of the market. That was the meeting before the CMC. We've got the chairman of the SEC, Olufemi Lijadu, and the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Mary Oduk, a few of the soundbites of what they discussed behind the closed doors yesterday. Take a listen.
You saw us scribbling and writing, so it's been a real learning experience. I think I've virtually been able to take everything down that everybody said. This is a very, very important meeting for us. When I look at the list of people here, when I run down the list, I can see that the knowledge we have, the software in this room, is really sufficient for us to address virtually all the problems that we face if we work together. And so that is actually very encouraging for me, because I realize that the solution to the problems that the capital markets pose for us are within the knowledge of the people in this group here. From the credit market, credit rating agencies, to the reporting accountants, to the registrars, and so on and so forth. All the stakeholders are here. And so I think this is a very important forum that we should continue with. I think one of the things we need to think about is we need to have meetings such as this frequently, but they should not be talk shops. They should be talk shops, they should be shops where the decisions we have taken, the analysis we have agreed on, and we have action points, and then we hold ourselves accountable for the steps that we have taken. So I think something that has come from this meeting is that we need to basically articulate all the issues, the steps that we need to take in terms of addressing them and solving them, assign responsibility, and then have benchmarks where we report on the steps we have taken. I think that's the only way to really get the best out of this kind of meeting. So I'd really like to thank you all for your input. I think there's another thing which I think is very important. You know, as a regulator, one of the things we need to do is to look at ourselves and see where we may have fallen short of the standards that we want in the past. How can we improve and in fact go further and align ourselves with best practice internationally? I think that also applies to the operators in the market. It is not useful when, as a family, and we speak within ourselves, we are not totally frank. And if we see the problems that we pose, some of them are external to us, but some of them are internal. So we need to be able to also look inside and see where we have failed. The voice of the retail market is not here. What is their experience of us as regulator, of you as operators? Some issues will come up. Those are also things that we need to address. But what I'm very, very confident about is the level of knowledge, professionalism of everybody that I've heard from today. I really feel, and I'm sure the board members share this with me, very, very, very confident that if we can keep this communication, if we can work together hand in hand, and we may agree, but by the time we discuss, we put our views, we should be able to come and be able to implement solutions. And I can see from what has happened in the past and from the statements you have made, that where we need to support each other in arriving at those solutions, we certainly will be prepared to do so. Now, on the advocacy front, I think you're right that the voice of the capital markets needs to materialize. I mean, we're dematerializing some things, but I think we need to materialize the voice of the market and make it heard in the right places. To the extent that we're able to support in that, we certainly will do that. But we need to come with we need to speak with the same voice, whether we're talking to the public, whether we're talking to the press. Let them start hearing those same themes that we agree on, about credibility, about transparency, about efficiency, and so on and so forth, so that we are speaking with one voice to the public and also to government. We also need to be very smart. We know right now that there's a problem with funding, even funding the government budget. And so if we can step in and say, look, we can be a key, in fact, we are a key pillar of the country being able to fund its development, if not the key pillar. And so these are the things that we need to support the government, even in its own, the objectives that it's trying to meet. I think that the time may be quite opportune for us to intervene, significantly and hopefully successfully in that respect. As a board, we will certainly help you along those lines. I would like to suggest, and I hope the DG will support, that we have this kind of meeting more often, and that we have it with also those stakeholders who may happen not to be present with us here now. I think we would really, we've tried to gather all your comments. We're going to try and reduce them to writing. If you do have presentations or things you can send us, get them together. We'll put them together. We'll have an action plan agreed with you, which we'll send back to you, and we'll have a document. So when, by the time we have the next meeting, we're not, yes, we'll give you breakfast and coffee, and we'll slap each other on the back, but it will be business. Okay, so what has happened? So by the time we have the third meeting expect people to be complaining about things they were complaining about the first meeting. We'll be accountable to each other. And I think in that way we'll be able to move the capital markets forward.
This is the market that I know. Very passionate. They say it the way it is. You have done that again today. I want to thank you most sincerely for your candid comments, because we take it as a guide as to the direction that you want the market to go. And I don't know where I have said it before, you are the ones at the forefront of the market. You're the ones on the battleground, and therefore you know it firsthand as or how it is. A lot of the things that have been said in this room today, we're not hearing it for the first time. You have said it over and over in several fora. Some we are handling at the SEC. Some are being handled at the committee level, whether it is at the CMC committees or the CAMI committee.
The chairman of the SEC, Olufemi Dijadu, and the acting director general, Mary Uduk. Let's check in quickly with the technical fault that British Airways says it had, causing delays to some of its flights. Let's check in with our business correspondent at our London studios, Juliana Layinka. Give us a quick update on this. Juliana, we apologize for coming late a little bit to use a bit of a busy time for us here on our Market Street. So let's go straight to British Airways. Do you have any updates for us on this? More planes back in the skies right now, or is this technical issue being fixed?
Good morning, Bosun. Well, the technical issue isn't being fixed, and British Airways have another PR headache on their hands. According to social media, or the cries from social media, this is affecting customers and passengers in the US, Asia, parts of Africa who are due to fly into Heathrow and Gatwick. BA have obviously apologised, saying that if they are cancelling your flight, then they'll try and put you in a hotel, and they're asking you to check with your operator to make sure you don't come to the airport. So it's causing a lot of headache, and at early trading, BA's shares were down by 1%.
Okay, quick one on Royal Mail. It looks like despite the uncertainties around Brexit and the economic shape of the British economy, Royal Mail still finished Q3 with decent numbers. You have some of the details for us at this point?
Well, yeah, Royal Mail, it's a mixed bag for them, even though they have posted pretty good numbers this morning. Last year, they had several losses. It's not been easy for them, especially because we're obviously in this kind of digital evolution. So a lot of people are no longer sending letters as they used to. And they did warn shareholders that even though they have had their biggest profit rise in 5 years, that 2021 may be particularly difficult. So even though they did post a decent profits this morning, their shares were down about 12%, and really it's because they're also trying to reorganize themselves with different plans, and they're behind in those new organization plans. So shares are down, but numbers are up. So mixed bag for Royal Mail.
Okay, thank you, Juliana. I'm sure Chimeze Obiwago will check in with you on Business Incorporated about the political debate, what's going on. A lot of discussions around the national insurance scheme that the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, is selling. If anyone is buying that, what that would mean for you taxpayers and those of you working in the UK. Thank you so much, Juliana, for being part of Business Morning today. Thank you, out of our London studios. Take a break with us, everyone. Let's check back. Today's primary market day. But what does it have with the opening calls? Let's take all of that when we come back.